this. Hi.
Hi. How was Salem?
We are recorded now.
Are we? Okay.
It was so good. It was really strange because I haven't been anywhere by myself like in years.
Right.
And so I drove, and it took me like 11 and a half hours to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped twice on the way there, and then the event was in the afternoon, mostly Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday morning, I went and like walked around Salem, and the weather was gorgeous, and like I did a couple of tours, the witch house, and did some shopping. You would be proud of me because I went into a metaphysical shop to talk to a guy about I was doing research for the book because Thomas, one of the characters, runs a shop like that. So I was like, all right, I need to get a better idea of what a shop in Salem is like as opposed to anywhere else. And so I'm looking around and I'm seeing what kind of stuff they have. And I started talking to this guy that works there. And it turns out that he doesn't actually work there. His partner owns the place. So he was just helping out, but he's a writer.
Right.
And so he had asked me why I was there. And I was like, I'm in town for this signing event. And so then we talked about being writers or whatever. And he asked me about my book, and I had it on me. So I showed it to him, and he liked it so much that he went on his phone in front of me and ordered it from Amazon. And I was like, I sold my book. I talk to people. So that was really, I was like, that's really, I was very proud of myself for,
you should be
talking to strangers and sold my book. So that was fun.
What did you get from the shop?
I got this tiny little sword thing that they were selling as a bookmark, but so and I didn't realize it at the time, but when I got home, Freddie, my son, was looking at the new book, and he was like, it looks like the sword, it looks like the dagger on the book.
And
I was like, it does kind of look like the dagger on the book.
Where I come from, that's called a synchronicity.
So I was like, clearly that was, meant to be that I went into that store because it looks like and I totally wasn't thinking about it when I bought it.
Will they sell your book in that store?
I did not ask them to sell. They didn't have any books they weren't selling books in the store. They were selling like statues and crystals and candles, and they had a guy that was doing tarot readings and stuff, but they didn't have any books.
That's odd. They usually have books, at least like 4 cards.
They didn't. This particular shop didn't. I don't even think they had cards. It was more. I mean, I did go into another store. I bought. I should have talked to these people about selling my book because they had books, but I bought the Good Witch's Perpetual Planner.
Oh yes, that is pretty too. Very
Art Nouveau. Pretty. I like the colors. But that was this was like 2 stores down. So there were, I don't know if maybe they just didn't want to compete because there are several stores that were selling like tarot cards and books and things like that. So yeah, I didn't ask them to. I should have done that, but I didn't. I didn't even bring the brochures with me that I handed people.
You know what? That's cool because you did a lot.
I did do a lot.
That wasn't even a small win. That was a big win.
That was really good. And so it was really fun. And I toured the place, and I took a whole bunch of pictures of like the inside of the witch house. Is kind of misnamed because witches didn't live there. It was what's the guy's name? He was a judge at the trials that lived there. So you're getting an idea of like what the time was like. And they have like authentic pieces from the time period there and stuff, but it's not like witches live there. But the interesting thing was I walked in on a conversation with lady worked there with some other people that were touring, and she was telling them about counter magic, and I was like, ding ding ding, we need to be listening because that's what the second book is all about. So she gave them a bunch of information of counter magic, which mostly confirmed that I was doing the right thing in what I wrote in my book. And then she showed them there's a sigil carved over the stairs in one of the original beams of the house. And it doesn't look like it's not a hexen foil like my little things are.
Right.
But it is like a 6-pointed star, and they're not 100% sure that was original to the house, because the house got turned into a museum in the 50s, so somebody might have carved it before that. But it looks old, whatever. It looked old, and the symbol looked a lot like ones that I had seen as examples of things that people were doing for counter magic, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool, because that's the first time I've seen one in person. And then I looked for some on the gravestones when I went to the walk around the cemetery, but they were, I mean, some of them were in really good shape, but I didn't see any counter magic on it. But I found like Giles Corey's wife's grave is in there, and I went to where they have the memorials to the people that died. So that was cool. But yeah, so then I went to the reason that I was there. I went to the signing, and it was a huge number of people, and which I knew before I got there, but it was like overwhelming at first, and it was a lot of romance books, a lot of dark romance books. And so I'm like walking around, and I'm like, okay, this is why we came. We want to make sure that there's a place for my book here. And so I walked around, and I found 2 authors that I'm actually in a witchy Discord group with, and introduced myself to them. And that was kind of funny, because we've been talking on Discord, but I've never like seen them in person. And I've never even like Zoomed with them or anything. So
wow.
And so they were like, oh, I shared your book on Friday when it came out. And I was like, yes, thank you. I saw that. Whatever. So they gave me some advice about setting up the table and what to do to prepare for the signing. And these 2 ladies both write sort of cozy magic and midlife books. So some of the vibes are similar to mine, but their characters are older. So I was like, all right, well, if they're here and they're being successful, then it's probably going to be okay. And so then I went and met a couple of other people. I ended up buying 11 books from 9 authors. And I only bought books that I was like, these are like similar to mine in some way. So I got 3 that were like urban fantasy, young women but it's not romance forward books. Right. And then I got a few of these like cozy ones, and then I got some that I'm not sure, but I think that they might be a match in different ways. And then I met this one lady the first day that I told her I was looking for books that were less romance. And so she starts telling me about her trilogy that she's got out, and what a slow burn it is, that it does have romance, but like nothing really happens until the 3rd book. And I was like, okay. And she was really, really nice. And I had told her that I was an author and I was going to be there the next day. And so she actually just gave me the book, and I'm like, this is, you're running a business. You can't be giving away the book. So she's like, well, I just want to make sure that you like it. And if you don't like it, bring it back to me. And then if you do like it, buy the next one. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that works.
So I'm like, she must be doing reasonably well if she can afford to like, just like treat me like an ARC reader, I guess. I'm like, but she was so nice. And she had this really cool table setup. She had done, cardboard cutouts of her books to put on her display, so people aren't touching her books, they're looking at the cardboard. And then she had done cardboards of the back, and so you could pick up the back and read it, where most people have their books stacked up, and then people are picking them up and putting them down and whatever. And so she had done that for 2 reasons. One was she's protecting the books. The people who are walking around aren't touching the merchandise. But also she was in a wheelchair, and so it was like convenient to her. She kept the books that she was going to sign next to her so that she could reach them, and then you would sign them and give them to people and stuff like that. So that was cool. And then I met a couple of other people that I had been stalking on Facebook that didn't know me, but I was like, And I did that. I was like, so I know who you are. You have no idea who I am. I just wanted to tell you that I really like your Facebook presence and you're like, very helpful with whatever. And so people were like that. And then that night there was a witches ball, which I almost didn't go to, but I decided it was a good like networking opportunity,
right?
And I should try to go make friends with people.
Yes.
And so I got dressed up and I went to this thing, and when I first got there, I sat down at a table with a couple of ladies who weren't. I mean, they weren't rude, but they weren't terribly interested in meeting new people. So right. Like it was awkward and weird. And then there were readers at that event too. So I met some readers and I talked to them about my book for a little bit, but then they went and talked to somebody that they had heard of. So I stepped out and I was drinking my water or whatever. And this woman comes up to me as I'm standing outside of the ballroom. And at first I didn't recognize her because she was standing up, but it was the lady that had given me her book for free.
Right.
So she walks with a cane, but so she came up to me and she was like, hey, she's like, are you all right? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm having an introvert moment. And she was like, did you not make any friends yet? And I was like, no. And she's like, come with me. And she like dragged me back into the ball and sat me down at her table and introduced me to everybody there. And then she went out and danced. And so like I ended up staying. Like I went out and danced with her, and then I met some other people and I danced with them, and like I ended up staying at this ball like until it shut down. And like sharing my like Instagram with people, and so they started so I have made connections to like 6 or so authors that I hadn't met before, who are now like following me and I'm following them. And then, so when I went back the next day, I didn't stick around at the signing the next day very long because I had to drive home, and there was only there were 3 rooms and only one of them turns over. The other ones I'd already seen. Mm-hmm. So I went around and made a point of talking to all the people that I talked to at the ball and making sure they remembered me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, thank you for making me feel comfortable. I was really nervous and sorry I was so weird, but like whatever. So that was fun. And then one of the authors that I had talked to the first day that I didn't see at the ball saw me walking around the second day and made a point of coming up to me and telling me that after we talked the day before, she had gone on my Instagram and like, stalked me a little bit and basically decided she's like I'm following you, and I'm like, okay. But she was really nice, and she was like, she thinks that we have probably similar readers, and that we should talk. And she was so funny because she's like, she wants to help me, but she's not real sure what she could do to help me. So I was like, no, let's just talk sometime, it'll be great. And she's like not right now, obviously, because she's got to go back to her table. And she's like, well, maybe you could show me your book. And then she thinks about it, and she's like, I'm not gonna have time to read it, but you can tell me about it, and then I can tell. And I'm like,
don't you just love finding your people?
Like, I really appreciate the honesty there. That like you're just not gonna have time. Like I get it. She had like 3 series that she was selling at this, so I'm sure she's busy. Mm-hmm. But I appreciated that she like sought me out, like she saw me and came out to talk to me on purpose, and so I was like, that was pretty cool. And then that day I met an author who she's wearing sunglasses inside. And I had seen her the first day and I didn't know what was going on. But the second day she had a table and she has a chalkboard up that says something about introverted author, but willing to talk to you about books. And I was like, I love that. So I came over and it was working too. Like people were approaching her because of the sign. Mm-hmm. So I went up and I was like, same. So then we talked about like what it's like to be an introverted author and some of the things that she's doing to kind of try to counteract the nerves and the anxiety. And then like she was like she asked, I told her I was coming next year, and she was like, oh, are you on Saturday or Sunday? And I was like, well, I'm on Sunday right now. And she's like, Sunday might be better, there's less people, it's like an easier like ease in. And I was like, I could see that maybe. So we'll see. I don't know. After having been there, I do think I'm going to try and get a Saturday time slot, because there are a lot more people. I think I will sell more books if I have a Saturday day. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to my husband about it, and I was like, I'm going to see if maybe they'll let me switch from Sunday to Saturday if an opening comes up, because I know that they're already sold out for next year. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, why don't you just do both? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, do both days. And I was like,
are you crazy?
What? So I don't know. I might. I was
okay. I'm going to offer you this because I love to road dog. Mm-hmm. So if you plan to do that,
yeah.
And I've also done tables at like Austin Wizard World and stuff like cons.
Yeah.
If you plan to do that, let me know and I'll make arrangements to come up there with you to help at your table.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Because I'm like, it's a great experience and you really want to do it. And you really do want to do it both days.
Yeah.
But it's tiring.
Right.
It's just tiring for extroverts. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, I was exhausted. I came home and I got home at like 1:00 in the morning on Monday, and went to bed and basically spent most of Monday just like zonked. I was either unconscious or I was just mindlessly scrolling stuff because I just didn't have any energy left.
Right.
And I wouldn't even sell anything.
Right. And so you're going to want to walk around. You're going to want to talk to people, and being at a table kind of change you there. How long are the slots?
It's for the general admission was 2 to 5, but they started setting up at like 8 or 9, and I think they let people in at 11 or 12. Because they had people that paid to get in, readers that paid to get in got in earlier. I didn't pay to get in, so so I think they had one. If you don't pay, you get in at 2. If you do pay, you get in at 1, I think. And then I think that they did an ADA open at 11.
Okay.
All
right. So it isn't like an 8-hour sit, but still you're going to want to walk around.
Time. Yeah.
And you're going to need someone to go and get extra stuff or go get food.
Oh my God. I would love that. That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Because it's not something, after doing it, it's something that I want to do occasionally.
Yeah.
But for anybody who really wants to do it, at least try it. I'm always down to help with that because it's an experience you really should have at least once.
Yay.
To see if you like it.
Oh, thank you.
Boy.
Yeah, that was so it was good. And then after, was it Sunday or one day? I think it was on Saturday. I stayed a little bit after I had finished talking to all the people I was interested in talking to, because one of the authors that I met got me to talk to her table because she was doing a raffle for mead, and I was like, okay, sure, tell me about your mead situation. So then I had to stay until the raffle happened. So while I was waiting for the raffle, I sat out in the lobby with some readers, and I'm like eavesdropping on their conversations and the kinds of things that they like about books. And most of them are there for romance. But so it was this like T-shaped table where the short part of the T was tall and the long part of the T was low. So I'm sitting at the low part, and they're at the tall top part, putting together like bracelets and things. The readers all show up for this thing like it's a Taylor Swift concert, and they're like trading pins and bracelets and stickers and all this stuff. So I had brought the little stickers that have the QR code for my website on the back.
Right.
So I'm like giving those to people. And so when I was sitting at the low table, some other readers would come over and be like, can I just rest here for a minute and then get up and leave? And I was like, sure. And so they were sitting down, and when they would get up, I'd be like, hey, you want some stickers? And they, and most of the time they just took it. But a couple of the people like noticed the QR code and opened the thing like right there. So I sold like 6 books that way.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and the one girl, she was like, she's looking at my website, and she's like, do you have a place on here where I can just buy it from you? And I was like, I mean, you can buy it direct from me from my TikTok, but I don't have a link to that on my website, so I probably need to fix that. I was like, on the website, there's just a button that says buy here, and it takes you to like whatever retailer. And she's like, oh, okay, no, I saw that. She's just like, I know some authors sell it straight from. She doesn't know sell direct as language, but she was describing. She's like, I know some authors have it. You can buy it from their website. And she's like, and I know you make more money if I do it that way. So I was going to try to do it that way. And I was like, that's really sweet of you. I am not set up for that, but that is really sweet for you. Man, so it was cool that there are readers, man. Right? That was so nice.
Especially those who are savvy and they understand that this is a business and they're just like, let me help you out.
Right? I was like, that was really cool. So yeah, so she, and then they were I had been giving the stickers to people that were sitting with me at the low table. So I noticed that the people at the high table were kind of starting to pay attention to. So I looked up and I was like, "Do you guys want stickers too?" And they're like, "Yeah, we love stickers." And I was like, "Okay, it's not a romance book, so I just want to let you know that because it's not what you guys have been talking about, right?" So I was like, "It's not a romance book," and they go, "We read other stuff." And I'm like, "Okay."
I wanted to make sure because that's not always the case.
I don't want you to be disappointed because I have reviews that are disappointed.
Yeah, because it's looking like mad romance on that cover. You have great covers. I don't know what to tell you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, that just tickled me. And it's just, I'm just so glad that it was so well for you. It did so well for you. Yes. And that's what I love about this industry. Mm-hmm. And that was one of my favorite parts of it was the traveling and the going and the seeing and the engaging. It makes you feel less alone.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was really nice.
But it's just good because this is such an isolating business. Not isolating, but it's a business of solitude.
Yeah.
Right? And there's really no way to gauge other than looking at beeps and boops on the screen or lines and numbers. But there's no way to emotionally figure out or gauge how you're doing until you're out there. Mm-hmm. And you see what's working and not. And it's validation on many levels, but it's also horrifying. But it's fun. So, oh my God. I wanted to talk a little bit about scheduling our days.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to get back into. I don't know. I tried to go in and outline book 3 because I keep saying I'm going to start writing it. And I went and found all my notes. And the last time I opened these notes was July.
Wow.
Just like, because I've been working on the second book and getting, finishing proofreading and, launching and all of that stuff. So I haven't done any like creative writing, actual draft writing since July.
Okay, you've been doing other things. This business is not
right. I've been doing, yeah.
This business is not just writing; it's a whole lot of other things.
Yeah,
but it's crazy making. You're like, okay, I'm ready to go back, and it's like it's been 14 years since you've opened this thing,
right?
And you don't remember no one's name,
right?
You don't remember where you were. That hot shit idea that I'm gonna put that in is long gone,
right?
Oh man. So how did you imagine your day when you scheduled it out? How did you imagine this would look? Or what are you trying to get back into day to day?
I did last year when school started, I set up a schedule, a calendar, a daily calendar schedule thing according to, like, I used to teach high school. So I set it up based on class periods.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so when first period would normally be happening, this is what I should be doing. And in second period, because like I'm used to breaking it down that way. And that worked pretty well because it makes me work in like 45-minute increments. And so then I would like write and then I would go exercise or do something to clean the house or whatever, and then come back and write. And then I did a bunch of Pomodoros, like 20-minute Pomodoros. So I think I'm going to try and get back into something like that, but it's just, I don't know. I'm having a rough time starting.
That was similar. I like that idea, and I'm glad you mentioned it because that was similar to what I wanted. Um, that was similar to how I wanted to organize my days
Mm-hmm.
because I have an access problem. I have a lot of stuff that I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I wanted to organize how I did this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. But I also wanted to organize my day
Mm-hmm.
because I'm no longer an 8-hour working corporate girl.
Right.
Even when I was doing the retail thing, and I may go back to it if I could manage it after everything that's happened in this past year and a half, it's only going to be like 2 to 3 days a week, right?
Okay.
But during the course of my day, what I've kind of chunked out is like it's like wake up until 10 a.m. It's just
Mm-hmm.
me getting up, washing my face, having my coffee, talking to my husband,
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And then the morning work block is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I just leave it there. I just leave it open. I don't say this is excuse me. Other than work, this is just a work block, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a midday, which is 1 to 3, and it is not working.
Okay.
It is not working. It may be exercise, it may be cleaning, but it's not working on this. And then I have my evening work block from 3 p.m. to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I usually set these two blocks up is that the morning block is me prepping
Okay.
for doing something in the evening. Now, mind you, I'm 51 years old. I've got 2 grown kids. It's just me, my husband, and the cats. And a premiere of a couple of documentaries on the TV. I got the time, right? And then I have the evening where I do all just like my evening traditions. I'm like getting ready for bed and doing my skincare and stuff.
Yeah.
So the way I organized my day blocks, I like that because it lets me be loosey goosey.
Mm-hmm.
And it also allows for more granular stuff, like you were talking about the 45-minute blocks,
Mm-hmm.
because I was planning on putting it together like that. And I was going to ask you about that. And then I
Mm-hmm.
realized she has much more discipline than I do. And she has more discipline that I am interested in developing.
Yeah,
Right?
I only have this discipline because I have it's 10 o'clock to basically 10 to 3
Mm-hmm.
is my active working time, and anything doesn't get done between 10 and 3, there is a high probability it doesn't get done that day.
Right.
So because the kids come at I mean, the kids don't come at home at 3, but at 3, I start thinking about, oh, the bus is going to be here soon. And then I can't focus anymore because I'm thinking that the bus is going to be here.
Right.
Um, so then I am actively responsible for the children on my own from when they get off the bus until dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's usually 6 or 7. And then George comes home and takes over for like an hour, hour and a half. And I had been trying to use that time to actively read in a place where the children can see me reading.
Mm-hmm.
um, so that A, I'm making sure that I'm getting reading done, and B, I want the kids to see me reading because I want them to read.
Right.
And then they go to bed, and then I could theoretically work, but I'm tired by then. And
You want to
so
spend time with your
like
husband.
we go watch TV for an hour and then we go to bed.
Right.
So like after 3 o'clock, it's just there's nothing happening in the afternoon. So that's where I was like, well, I'll just treat it like it's school, even though if it was school, I would start earlier. But my kids get on the bus at not between 9 and 9:30, depending on when the bus shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been taking the dog for a walk with one of my neighbors who has kids the same age. We walk our dogs together. And so that's my socialization for the day. And the dog gets exercise. And so then I'm like, all right, I need butt and chair by 10 a.m. And then get stuff done between 10 and 3.
Um, with this, I decided for me
Mm-hmm.
that the best way to fill this time and to be effective in what I'm doing without feeling like a chore, with it being fun. Let me just say that I I want to get paid to have fun.
Indeed.
And I want to be paid to tell people about how I worship and how I play. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, does that involve work? A load of it, but it's fun work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I like the idea for discipline's sake of having the periods there, but knowing me and knowing what I want, I really don't want structured lines. I want structured projects.
Yeah.
So I decided to put together a dopamine menu of tasks that are 10 minutes, tasks that are 20 minutes, tasks that are 30 minutes, tasks that are an hour. I call them my power hours. I haven't figured them out, the power hours I have, but the other things we're working on it as this is like my first week doing this. Then I separate. Did I tell you about when I worked at the bakery and how I separate? Yes, I talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I separated my chores by the day, like all the interests by the day. Like today is podcasting. I'm calling this AV Club. Like Thursday is AV Club. And
I saw your Food Friday posts.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. Like, I want to practice talking, making videos, making content, but I was feeling chaotic because I do a bunch of stuff. So we break it down by the day. So
Well, and I like that you've been alliterative about how you're doing the days too. It's very entertaining for me. I like alliteration so much, and other people don't get that. I mean, my main character is Kate Corey, like for a reason.
And it's
I like
SSOA.
it.
I love that. Shaman States of America, Chrishaun Keller. I love that. So yes, it's food is food. Today, it used to be Thursday's podcast, but that's not true because I'm going to be doing a bunch of like film stuff. So Thursday is AV Club, Friday is food, Saturday is card and dice, Sunday is gaming, Monday is merch, and Tuesday, I don't know what to call that, but that's my newsletter, Substack, and print, and Wednesday is worship. I like how I'm doing these because every day when I'm posting something, every day, what I'm posting is whatever the subject matter is. So yesterday I posted a video where I showed the stuff that I got for my skincare from Five Below on Friday.
Okay.
So, and I got teeny tiny cast iron, like real heavy cast iron. I'm going to be doing, I'm making a hash, a beef hash, and with an egg on it, and I'm going to take a picture of it. And I've been taking pictures of my food all week, and that's going to be Friday's food as well, because I do this thing called grazing plates, which is like, think charcuterie board, but they have like mini meals on it. And so I have all these on this plate, and I take a picture of it, and I'll be posting that for Friday's food. Saturday is my playing cards and my dice. And so I finally found my playing cards and my dice, and I'm going to start talking about it. And when I start making more dice, that's the day I'm going to be featuring that stuff. And Sunday is a gaming day, which is my RPGs, because my RPGs and my RPG accessories. I want to keep the games that I make and the games that I play small, like 1 to 3, 1 to 4 people. Because during the plague, when up until the plague, I was used to playing in person with like 6 to 8 people.
Okay.
Right. And that became hard during the plague. And that's when I discovered solo RPGs. And now that I'm back amongst people, I don't want to do a big team like that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm researching, and I want to feature solo games, smaller games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm ramping up for that. And I know I mentioned this before and I still keep on forgetting his name, but the gentleman who inspired My Spoons Are Stabby is doing a Kickstarter, and that's one of the things I want to feature too. And Sunday will be my solo RPG date. I have a feeling that that's going to be a series I'm going to like doing because
Okay.
I'm going to make a tableau, like make a place setting and have it cook special food.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
And like have music and then actually play.
Yeah.
And then
Like record yourself playing for this.
mm-hmm.
That'll be cool. Oh, I bet that looks really cool.
I think it will. Monday is merch. Monday is the day that I think about the things that what I'm gonna do with these 4 boxes of cards and putting together stickers and other things. Because I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And there are also little things like I want to do art dolls.
Okay.
And like, you know those little mystery boxes?
Yeah.
Where there's 12 in the series and you open the box and you open the thing and you see what you get.
Yeah.
I also want to do that. Tuesday is a tough one because that is my newsletter and Substack.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know how I'm putting this thing together. I still don't know because I have all these things and I keep on reading Claire's articles and Russell's articles in Substack, and they're just like, post notes and go ahead and make the articles daily if you need to. Don't deprive me of engaging with you. I'm like, I understand that and I get it and appreciate that, but I feel like I'm bothering folks.
Yeah. That's kind of I've been trying to like make my Ream account make more sense, and you're supposed to have this whole community there, and I'm like, but I don't know what to post in the community section that I haven't already posted in like Instagram or whatever. And I did start trying to do stuff that's going to go in the newsletter into that community thing, and then when it's time to do the newsletter, I just copy that stuff and into the newsletter and like reorg because they're not the same people,
right?
So, but I don't. It's hard to figure out like what to post in there.
Right. And then Wednesday is worship. As you know, self love is self care. Worship is how you take care of yourself, body, mind, soul, financially and mentally. And that's my wash day. Like I take this off, I wash my hair, I oil my scalp. If I'm doing braids, Wednesday is the day. So that's the day that I'm taking care of myself. And if I need to re-up on any of my craft, like I still need to make mini candles. I made bigger ones, but I need to make mini candles. Wednesday's the day to do it. And that's how I'm organizing my space. That's how I'm organizing my interests. The other one is how I'm organizing my time. And now the next thing is to kind of make menus that takes the guesswork out of what I can be doing, what I should be doing. Because my procrastination sits in, oh, you need to do this, but it's so hard, or I'll put it off.
Yeah. It's going to take so long. I don't have time for that. I got to get this done.
Right. Exactly.
Something else is happening.
But knowing today is podcast, I'm not going to put off, oh, I need to upload the other 3 episodes that are sitting.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I need to sit up there and do the RSS feed for the Apple podcast, for the Apple platform.
Yeah. This is the first week where I have not edited last week's podcast before this podcast started. Right. Which I'm going to blame the fact that I was in Salem for that, because I do usually do it on the weekend. But I will get caught up by next week. I'll have both of them done.
Well, the thing is that you can't get in trouble with me. That's the thing.
Which I appreciate.
I'm like, I'm not going to put you on punishment. This is why I'm not going to put you in timeout. All right. And we do have some slack.
Yeah.
But also understand that I still haven't put them on Apple Podcasts yet. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because
Because it's hard. It's confusing.
no, it's not hard or confusing.
Okay.
Getting it done is validation that I'm moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I am facing the fact that I have no other excuses
Mm-hmm.
to actual doing this. And I'm going to say this, and a lot of people by the time you've heard this, um, by the time they've heard this Kickstarter will have been fulfilled. But I'm going to be honest with you, I was dragging my feet with some of that as well, because it's because and it's hard to say. It's not even embarrassing, but it's just I'm being very vulnerable here.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really encouraging when everything turns out right. And it's encouraging when you see the progress being made. But for me, it's scary when I realize I'm leaving my dream life.
Mm-hmm.
And after this gets fulfilled, and you're asking, well, CK, why is after this is fulfilled? Um, because after this Kickstarter is fulfilled, what I usually do is set up the next project,
Mm-hmm.
right? I put my next project into pre-production, and that's what I've been doing. I've been procrastinating putting my next project into pre-production, because the next 4 projects that I'm doing are not, well, they are my dream projects. Let's just say these are my magnum opus. These are the projects that I've always wanted to do. These are the projects that define my life.
Mm-hmm.
These are the projects that, when I dream about my perfect life, this is what I dream of doing. In this past year, I've been figuring out what it is that I do and what it is that I want to do, and I've identified them to the point where I could literally set out a plan. If we sat down and you asked me to tell you about it, I tell you about it, and including the actual projects.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrifying, because I have no other excuses. I have no other excuses. I have reached a point where a lot of people, they have these top authors who have just a vision. Do you know those folks who absolutely, they have their vision and they move forward with it?
Yeah.
I have reached that point where I can do that. Like, I watch these people like, I wish there was this one thing. I wish I knew and was as confident as them. And so
Mm-hmm.
I could move forward. I have reached that point. All right. It looks different than theirs, but this is mine. I know what that looks like. And I'm horrified. Horrified because I know it's not going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, this first year of doing all of this, we in the whole good is better than perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that stuff is not going to look the way I know I could make it look if I gave it time and
Yeah.
energy. But these projects are not about time and energy. They're about proof of concept. They're about finishing the thing,
Mm-hmm.
letting it sit, and then revisiting it for the second edition.
Yeah.
Right? It's about getting into the practice and the cadence of the way I want my dream life and my dream business to go, knowing that it's going to change and adjust. And I spent a good part of this year also being good with the fact that my first outings here will not be up to my taste level. It's that whole Ira Glass minding the gap thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something, sorting through the grief of that
Mm-hmm.
is very important, because one of the worst feelings is that you put together a project that you love and no one's there, or no one gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to still love it and yourself, and then set it down and do the next thing, that requires you to grieve a little bit, because it is a death. It requires you to validate yourself. And if you have a hard time doing that for yourself, or if you're someone who goes out and seeks things externally to validate you, that can wipe you out. And I'm talking from experience. Knowing that it isn't going to be exactly what you want it to
Mm-hmm.
be is hard to face. It is hard on the ego, it's hard on the heart. If you are not one who validates yourself, it's going to be hard emotionally, just
Mm-hmm.
motivation wise. And a lot of this stuff, no one is going to like but me. I know. Some of this stuff,
I like it.
yeah. I was like, some of this stuff everyone's going to like, and some of it's going to be really niche. And I have to be good with that. And I do appreciate that you like it. I appreciate that you are down to go on this journey with me. I didn't want to I didn't want to let too many words pass by before I acknowledged that. But
I recognize that I have unusual interests as well. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm on a totally different spiritual journey than you are, but that doesn't make me less interested in what yours is.
right? And that doesn't make yours any less profound or important either, right?
Right.
Because this is about, in the end, what gives you joy.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, joy in their worship is going Sundays, doing their prayers, and then just kind of keeping it at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as they are full of heart, full of sincerity. Once again, empathy, truth, joy,
Mm-hmm.
kindness, anti-greed. Some folks just Sunday meetings and a little bit of prayer here and there. That's between them and the Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's important, right? It is important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps guide you. That's all that's important,
Mm-hmm.
truly. I just, I've gone through the grieving, and now the next step is to do. And I'm still struggling with the 10 pages, girl.
I mean, that was a ambitious plan, I think.
Well, the thing is that it suggests that in the writer's way.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that you do every day.
Well, is it because I feel like I've read maybe I've just read
It is
excerpts,
10
but
longhand
every day
pages.
forever, or like over a certain period of time. Like, I feel like that's something that I could handle for, like, I don't know, a week or a month or something, as long as I saw that it was, there was an ending to it. But are they expecting you to do it like all the time forever?
I believe so. I believe this is something that you are to do for the rest of your days.
Wow.
And I don't know if I can do all of that,
Yeah, I don't know that.
but I do know that if I am in the practice of writing pages,
Mm-hmm.
that my essays, that my articles, that my short stories will come out from them, because that
Yeah.
becomes my writing time.
No, that makes sense.
But girl, it's a mindset thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm liking the way it's going, and I'm almost there.
Mm-hmm.
And I am determined to get these um, episodes up and on Apple today. All right. What are you loving this week?
Well, I watched Agatha All Along last night.
Okay, I have not been paying attention all week to what's been on there, so I'm watching it tonight.
Okay, I will tell you about it then. They dropped 2 episodes, and they were so good.
Okay, good. You can tell me that much. I was like, are they good? Are you liking them? Okay.
They're good. I liked it, yeah.
Okay, good. Because, okay, cool. Oh, no, but, you, what did you like about it?
I mean, I think I love the cast. I feel like they chose the absolute right people for all of the characters. I like the first 2 episodes are a setup, so I always enjoy the like we're meeting these different people. We're gonna go on a journey. The whole thing is like you've seen the previews, right? So yeah,
it's
so
Wizard
like
of Oz.
Right, it is, and so the first 2 episodes are like gathering your group together. And so you meet each of them individually, and then you kind of get a little bit of like how they're going to work together and what it's going to be like. And Aubrey Plaza is amazing. And so yeah, so I'm looking forward to more of her. That was really entertaining. Like Patti LuPone was so funny. And then the other actresses I wasn't familiar with, but they were. I started like Googling them afterwards, and so now I'm going to see if I can find some more of their stuff because they were really interesting. The costumes are really good. The set is really good. There's a song, and like all of the actresses can sing.
Yes.
So like that was really cool.
Because Wizard of Oz is a musical.
Right. Yeah. And there's all these little like I'm already noticing Easter eggs and stuff. So that's why I kind of want to watch it a second time with George tonight is to see like if there's other stuff that I missed. There's like little clues and things that are connected back to other Marvel stuff. And then also I think back to some things related to Agatha Harkness. So I've gone in and done like a little bit more of a dive into like who she is because she doesn't have her own comic books.
No, she is a Scarlet Witch / Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, well, the thing I read said that she was introduced in Fantastic Four. Actually,
she was
that she was the like nanny to their kid.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah, and
they came out all around.
She comes back young because there's pictures of her younger. So she must do some kind of spell or something where she comes back as a younger person. So I need to go in and try to find those because that looks interesting.
Marvel gets on to all sorts of fuckery. Don't be prepared to find a lot. I'm gonna put it that way. Be prepared to find a lot because Marvel loves that. Also, if you like the Easter eggs and stuff, let me suggest 2 YouTube channels.
Okay.
The first one is called ScreenCrush. That's ScreenCrush.
Okay.
And their little theme is that Ryan Airy works at a video store with his manager Doug, which is a little schnauzer type dog, and they talk about the facts and the Easter eggs that you missed.
Okay.
And they're more along the pop culture, connecting the dots Easter egg type. The other one is called New Rockstars, 2 words, NEWROCKSTARS. And they are still Easter eggs, but more along the lines of cinematography and the writing and how they set up shots and things like that. And themes.
Okay.
I love.
Yeah, I'm really curious about what people will be saying about because the first episode is it's supposed to be Mayor of Easttown, and it's the same like they're using this. I didn't watch like I've seen clips of it, but but it's that style, it's that kind of lighting, it's that kind of shots. It's like to the point where like the credits at the beginning are fake credits. They're character names instead of actor names. And then it says based on the Danish play or based on the Danish TV show, and it's WandaVision, but it's WandaVision written in Danish. And I was like, it's called Agnes of Westview,
right? Because
and yeah,
the show that they're copying is a English reboot of a Danish show.
Yeah,
and it's just
yeah. I was like, that was really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, and they play it completely straight too. Like Catherine Hahn is fantastic. And she's acting like she's a like detective, and she's like down on her luck, and she's whatever, and it's really good.
Oh, I cannot wait to watch it. What I'm loving this week is also the fact that there's a lot of shows that I'm interested in watching.
Yeah.
Agnes All Along is one of them. Mr. McMahon is one of them. Is a documentary about Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, and his story. And man, is it a story. It's a story, and it's a story that I am absolutely vested in because it is the story of my biggest fandom and perhaps my first.
Okay.
Right. As I've been a huge wrestling fan for decades, and I've only stopped this past 10 years or so because I have other things that capture my attention. Right. And the folks that I grew up with and I've met along the way, they are retiring. And it's just an easy time to kind of get on the off ramp of that, but still be a fan of the fandom of wrestling. Okay. And so Mr. McMahon is a big one that I'm just like really excited about. Agatha All Along. And there was Rings of Power.
Okay, yeah.
I'm really loving it because I'm liking how this is the story of Sauron.
Yeah, I have trouble following it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving it enough attention. I think it's very pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I like Galadriel's plot line, but there's just so many other characters that I'm always like, what? Who's this again? I don't like. Especially when we first started the season, I was like, I don't remember who any of these people are.
Everyone is. You're not alone. We all are. We all are.
I like the halflings, and I like that storyline with the giant that is probably Gandalf.
Yeah.
Like that plot line I think is interesting. But the other stuff with all the politics, I'm just kind of like, and I liked the dwarf queen is cool.
Yes, Disa, love her.
Yeah, she's
quick question: are you watching it currently?
I think I might be a week behind, or
okay.
I'm not sure where we are.
Then we'll catch up with this next week because there's a spoiler that happens that I really want to talk about.
Okay.
And because it's like the rug; it pulls everything together. And when this happened, I was like, "Thank you," because now it makes sense to me. Now I have a point of context.
Okay.
And I was really pleased that they did that. So that's... And I'm also liking my weekly schedule and what I'm putting out for content. That's what I'm doing. So what do we want to get done by next week, other than catch up on all our shows so we can talk about them next week?
Right. I mean, I think it is going to be a catch-up week in general. I need to catch up on... I had told people that I was going to put my my book boxes out for sale on Friday, which is tomorrow, and I am not ready. So I need to get that done as soon as possible. And then I really want to start this schedule on Monday and get actively writing things, because I did make this ambitious I'm going to have the book done by June thing.
We are at time, so I'm going to end this.
Sorry, I overtalked on this one.
Well, no, you didn't. You said it there. You shared with me. This is why we're here, honey. We are literally here to talk. And honestly, I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, good.
All right, then. I will talk to you before. I'll see you next week, but I'll talk to you before, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.